Oh yeah. What? Welcome back to another episode of Engines and Unfinished Business. This week we have been...
all about the M.O.T, baby.
All about the M.O.T.
That is it. It's been just getting it ready. I mean, the main thing was paint the bumper, get the bumper back on, because can't really drive around without a bumper. And then just check the car over, make sure everything's good. Swapped out, there are some bars underneath the car that had rusted, so we swapped them out for some stainless steel ones.
They were very, very rusty bars.
Well, yeah, one of them was literally in two pieces. It was beyond gone. So that would have been a failure.
Yeah.
Tyres.
Got new tyres, very nice tyres.
Yep, spent more than we spent on the car originally on tyres. In
Yeah.
fact, thinking about it, with the tyres, the T-bar seals and the roof seals, we spent like £900 on rubber for a £200 car. Put one of the new seats in.
Yep, it looks quite nice.
Really
Matches the
comfy.
steering wheel very nicely. Well, we're down to only, just over 3 weeks to go.
Shit, yeah, it's creeping up.
Yeah, need to be ready, and if not, we don't know what we're going to do for a car.
You haven't thought that far ahead. So finally back to working on the bumper. One problem is these rub strips that hold the bumper onto the car are broken. You've got a broken bolt there, and a tab that's snapped there. I'm just going to try and fix and tidy up these rub strips. Right, so this is one of the bolts that's sheared in the rub strip, and it's contained by this kind of metal strap. So the plan is to cut the metal strap open, pull the bolt out, put the metal strap back with a new bolt in. I don't know if that'll work, but it's worth a try. So this is what I came up with. I cut the old bolt out entirely, cut a hole in the bit of plastic that was behind it, and pressed a new bolt in. So I've got both of the rub strips now with all the studs fixed. Next thing to do will be to clean up the surfaces and paint them. I don't know what colour that is, and I certainly don't have the paint, so I'm just going to make them body coloured, which I think will look better anyway. So finally ready to actually paint the bumper now. Never tried painting something this big and important with a rattle can job, so wish us luck. So the bumper turned out a bit shit. I think it actually looks better on camera than it does in real life. But we've got the M.O.T and tyre fitting in the next couple of days, so we're just going to have to persevere for now. So next up, I'm just going to try and install this little aluminium mesh just to give the radiator some protection from flying stones and shit. At some point, a previous owner had decided to swap the stock amber indicators for some clear ones. Unfortunately, they'd done a really shoddy job of the wiring, twisting and taping all the connections. Seriously, it's never okay to twist and tape. So before these can go back on the car, we first need to fix the wiring. much better. So, today is a very special day because I'm about to go and get Misty some new tyres, which in itself isn't special, but it means it's the first time we'll have driven her more than a few metres since we picked her up in November. A few things to note from this first drive. The speedo that we calibrated a few episodes ago is actually accurate. I tested it using a GPS app on my phone and comparing it, so that's all good. Also, someone pointed out on our very first episode that the temperature seemed to be low and asked if maybe the thermostat was broken, and from this drive I did find the temperature never really went above a quarter, so we probably do need to look into the thermostat. Other than that, car felt great, went well, glad to get some new tyres on it though. A couple of other things we needed to attend to based on last year's M.O.T advisories were the condition of the rear brake discs and the rear brace bars that were very rusty. So the advisory said that they were just like worn or pitted or scored. It wasn't specific, and I can't really see, and there's not a massive lip there, so I don't think they're particularly worn out. This one looks the same really, just like not too worn down, not... I don't know. Pads have got plenty of meat on them. I don't really know what I'm doing, but I reckon that's probably okay.
Uh-oh.
Hopefully it's a 10 mil. Ow! Oh, right, my ear hole.
Ew.
I'm gonna need a bigger spanner. Maybe.
It's a lovely view of your head.
Thank you. I have a very nice head. I like to think, oh, that's going to be alright. Turns out this car has all the oil leaks.
All the oil leaks?
Yeah, well, like when we bought it, he said it had a leaky gearbox, didn't he?
Yeah.
And it's also got a leak all around the sump and from the sump plug of like engine oil.
Oh.
So that's what needs to be addressed.
You look like you're jacking off.
My really long, thin penis.
Yeah.
Is that enough? It may not be, no. Right. I'm going to have to move my safety wheel.
God, no. You're going in unprotected.
That's right.
You might die.
Third axle stand.
Live a little, just go underneath.
Live a little. People actually die all the time from this. Admittedly, they don't already have two axle stands, a jack and a tyre underneath it.
You don't need so many axle stands. Just...
Point is, quite like being alive.
The sun is coming out. Oh, what a lovely tree. Oh, that's a nice bit of sun just there. Can you see? Oh, twinkle, twinkle.
Oh wow, that's hella rusty.
Oh, what's happening?
No, people are doing
Sorry, I was looking at the sun.
That's fine. It's not very interesting at the
We haven't seen it for a while.
No, we haven't. Yeah, people like to joke about English summer, but it really has been shit this year.
Just use your head to rest the camera thank you.
Fair enough, it's like a mat's eye view.
So we can just kind of see a beard.
Right, yeah, there we go. That is what's known as a cancer bar, because it just rusts, and that is what we're replacing. And it goes from there all the way, I can't see where I'm pointing anymore, under there somewhere. Yeah. When we get him out, you'll see how incredibly rusty it is.
Look at him just standing there playing with his hose. Not a care in the world.
Bloody hell. This may not work. Yeah! Love impact things. Yeah, that, can you see that bar now? It's literally falling apart. That is the problem. I can't tell if that's actually on or not. Apparently so. Ooh. The old one.
Nice.
Which is why the new ones are stainless steel and not made by Toyota.
Bloody shit all over the floor.
Yeah, sweep that up a bit. Oh, rip me glove. Get in your hole. You're too good for your hole. There we go. That looks pretty good. While we had the wheels off the car, we thought it'd be a good chance to give them a thorough clean. Well, that's disappointing. Oh, today's lesson is, don't buy this. It's shit. And the very last thing before Misty was ready for her MOT was to put the number plate back on. Now I know earlier we said we were going to relocate the number plate and went to all the effort of filling in the old mounting holes, but having tried a few different number plate locations, we found actually the stock place looked the best, so we're sticking with that. Emissions testing is always a potential pitfall with these old cars, so to give her a fighting chance, we dumped a bottle of Cataclean into the fuel tank before we headed out for the MOT.
So while we were at the MOT, we obviously couldn't do any filming, but we did manage to take a couple of pictures, and here's what happened.
She failed the MOT. It wasn't too bad. The headlight beam was too high and the adjustment screw is missing, so we need to get a new one of them and sort that, but that should be easy. Other thing was emissions, which is what I was worried about because of the leaky exhaust. So plan is pull the exhaust off and see if it's fixable. If not, some new exhaust parts are in Misty's future. I wonder if he's in shot. Monkey. Hey, good boy. Just in case it's off camera, then I was stroking our cat Monkey. I wasn't just holding my arm out for no reason. Can you hear me jingling the pussy bell? I'm so calling it that from now on. I'm so going to be jingling the pussy bell.
And the eagle-eye viewer may have noticed that we have the same drinks as the video before, and we clearly haven't just changed our tops.
No, this is definitely not filmed on the same day as last week's episode because we got so far behind on our sofa summaries that happened. Maybe. I also scruffled my hair a little bit just so it was...
And I changed my hair.
Everything's a lie. We lie to you all the time. One time there was water in the mugs.
Yeah, our first ever episode, there was no tea.
There was. The mugs are empty. You can actually see it at one point. And then another one, it was a really hot day and we didn't want tea, so the mugs just had water in because we felt like we had to have tea. And now you've gone all fancy. So fancy.
It's delightful.
So here's this week's budget. The previous total was £1,255.91 and... well, we spent absolutely loads, bringing our new total to £1,742.05.
Yeah, we'll probably only have one more episode before our wedding now, and hopefully that will be the car fixed, or it will be us scrambling to find some alternative method of transportation. Hopefully, Misty will be MOT'd and good to go.
Yep.
Let's find out next time. Dun, dun, dun.
No, we already did that in one episode.
In the very first episode, there was a reference to the very first episode.
Dun dun dun. Hello.
Oh, it's keeping that one in there.
Hello.
Hello. Trying to use a downfire.
Monkey just licked the tripod.
You're a strange cat, Monkey. Let's see if we're ready now. Fuck!